got into for a while, all right, was basically just a ballistic reticle. On ballistic reticles, you start out and you have 200-meter hold here, 300 here, a little bit further down you go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. Now, the thing about ballistic reticles, if you actually work with a ballistic reticle and it's made for your weapon system, your BC, it's kind of like a bullet drop compensator on your turret. You'd auto 200 for 2. All right, so you'd put the 2 for 200, 5 for 500. All right, they both have the same problem. The problem is this is set up, ballistic reticles and ballistic drop compensated turrets are all set up for 1 density altitude, 1 muzzle velocity, 1 BC. Unless you're hand loading and staying in your own environment and not changing bullets, if you don't, that's fine. It's a very accurate system. And if you're out here, you know, shooting in West Texas and it's using the same reticle and you're not going up to 8,000 foot hunting elk or something, this reticle works. But the problem with this reticle, the equivalent hold for this right here for 800 is 8.5 on the classroom gun that we've been running. All right, now if you jump up to 8,000 foot, your hold for 800 meters is really 7.5. All right, so this dot's going to miss by a mil. All right, at that distance, you're looking at 26 inches for a miss. All right, so ballistic reticles really quit working after about 400. Now at 400 meters, you're only probably a half a minute off or so. All right, so it's still a good reticle out, you know, if you're hunting and you're not going to take a shot past 400, that's where your limits are, that's what you set for yourself. Ballistic reticle is a good reticle. There's nothing wrong with the ballistic reticle. But after 400, you're going to start seeing that separation. You know, last year we came in here and we was shooting training, and I jumped up and went up to Colorado and shot an elk with my buddy. He borrowed my gun and he took a shot at an elk at 1,153 meters. He hit him with the first shot. We zeroed the gun here, trued it here, changed our atmospherics, went up there and hit the target. If we was using a ballistic reticle, it wouldn't have been even anywhere close, you know, even with the 338. So what you got to understand is ballistic reticles, where they work and where they quit working. All right, so from 400 meters and down, not so much as you change altitude. All right, and that's another thing. Most reticles are kind of set up at a average density altitude. You don't want to set one up for sea level, and you don't want to set it up for 8,000 foot. They set it up in the middle to kind of cut the air in half both ways as they go up and down. The environment that some of our guys hunt in and the environment that our military boys fight in, you know, whether it's in Afghanistan or high up in other places, you can't utilize a ballistic reticle. It's not a system that will actually work.
Hey Todd, I'm going to hold you for a second. I guess also you're not just talking about density altitude, but if you change that gun or that ammo or any other facet, that thing's getting affected at that point. I mean, that's just, you're just covering right now. If you went from, say, you know, Florida to up in the mountains, you're going to be affected. That same gun, same bullet, same hand load, same everything. But if you changed it round at that point, you're...
Oh, absolutely. What you're going to see is, you know, you could actually take a standard mil-dot reticle and put it on your 338, and you could pass it off and hand it to Mike and say, hey, try this on your M4, and he's good to go. It's a good system. It'll continue to work. But you take a ballistic reticle and your gun fell off this truck right now, now you have to find another 308 ballistic reticle shooting the same ammo. You can say, hey, let me borrow that 300 Win Mag, you know, let me take the scope off it and put it on this gun. It won't work, all right? So it's a huge point. A lot of times, you know, we like the capability to swap scopes from one system to another. I used to have people tell me all the time, man, I can't afford a Smith & Bender scope. They're kind of pricey. And I go, well, how many rifles do you have, you know, hunting rifles? And they go, oh, I've got 6 or 7, you know, in the house right now. And I said, how many scopes you got on? And they go, 6 or 7. And I go, okay, what'd you spend on your scopes? $400 to $800? And they go, yeah, I've got one cost $1,400. I said, what if you sold all your scopes, bought the best glass made to man right now, and then put it on a ring that you could actually take it off, move it from one weapon system to the other? Now you're shooting the best glass made, all right, and enjoying the full capability of your weapon system. And you try to tell people all the time, they'll go out and they'll spend $3,000 on a rifle and put a $400 scope on it. You know, if you're spending $3,000 on a rifle, it's really kind of smart to go ahead and spend $3,000 on a piece of glass, all right? The glass is actually more important than the gun is. Most weapon systems today, I mean, you can buy some really nice Tikka rifles, hunting rifles, you know, and they're not very expensive at all. You can get $500, $600 rifles. They're very accurate. They're minute of angle rifles. Put a $1,000 piece of glass and you're going to maximize the benefits of accuracy that you're going to get out of the weapon system. But if you take a $3,000 rifle, custom made by Tactical or Surgeon or any one of the great, gunsmiths out there today, and they're making good weapon systems, and put a sorry piece of glass on it, you still got a 2-minute angle gun as far as the effects that you're getting on target. Because it just changes. If you're working with a really good piece of glass, you're going to maximize and get the benefits of whatever that weapon's capable of. And most of the guns are very capable that are made today for the hunting market, and as well as the tactical side. Very accurate. But the big deal is we really need a good piece of glass. But let me show you something else that we was talking about